Dr. Malevolent Max and the Mysteries of the Double Muscle Mass Mutation.
By Zhang and Jasmine Wong.
In the world of wonders and the nature of animals, there lives a dark and scary villain.
Dr. Malevolent Max!
Gifted with powers beyond human comprehension, he used his super strength for evil instead of good.
No one knows how this happened.
Until now. Mutation Mythbusters.
Today, we're digging into the deep, dark past of this menacing Dr. Malevolent Max and find out what caused him to become evil.
This tragic story starts when Dr. Malevolent Max was a child. He was beloved by all. He was the strongest kid in school with his large muscles and speedy legs. Everything was great. Until one day.
There was a huge test coming up for him. He was so stressed, to the point where his throat was compressed.
Max knew that something was wrong. But when he had visited the vet,
they had no idea what was wrong with him. They too thought that Max was buff because he was athletic.
Max, your situation is very complicated, and we aren't sure what is causing these side effects. I'll send you home with some medication. Make sure to get a lot of sleep and drink a lot of water.
Am I dying?
Don't worry, Max. It's not life-threatening. Just remember to take care of yourself well. Also, don't do physical activities for a while, as it might strain your body. Hey, Max!
Huh? Oh, hey!
So, why are you at the vet?
I gotta go.
Wait! I know all about your secret, Max. Or should I say, Min!
The next day.
Max walks into school, nervous about what the vet said.
As he walked down the hallway, people were staring at him and whispering, "Why is everyone looking at me?"
Because you're a malevolent fraud!
What? Fraud! 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 No! I'm not a fraud! I'm a good kid!
To this day, Max was still unbeknownst to the reason why he was so different. His childhood was filled with despair. That despair soon grew into hatred. Hatred for the ones that wronged him. Hello. I have a proposal that you will find hard to reject. You have an impressive reputation around the city, Malevolent Max.
And who are you?
I'm Shrimp, a very skilled doctor.
And what are you proposing? Make it quick.
Well, I would like to be your assistant.
No.
What? But please, man, I'll do anything.
You said you were a doctor, yes?
I sure am.
Then you must know what the reason for my abnormally sized muscles is. If you can tell me that, I will allow you to be my assistant.
Is it 'cause you work out?
Well, yes, I do. But I've been buff like this since I was a baby. My muscles grew larger as I grew up.
Let me think. I know. It appears you have a genetic mutation. Genetic mutations occur when there's an error in your DNA, also known as your genetic information. Normally, people will have a balanced amount of body fat and muscle size.
However, in Max's situation, his muscle size has doubled and his body fat has reduced.
The protein that helps to control the growth and development of tissues used for movement is called myostatin. The MSTN gene codes for it, and is also being affected by the mutation. Lack of the MSTN gene causes an obvious abnormality in the size of muscles because if it cannot make myostatin, it cannot control the tissues.
In the process of protein synthesis, the body needs to make a protein. Proteins are made of little materials called amino acids, and in order to get those amino acids, they have to get the specific instructions that are located in the nucleus of the cell. Sometimes an error is made in the instructions and messes up the whole process, resulting in a faulty protein. This leads to a mutation. Let's go into detail with this process.
The nucleus generates the DNA needed to make a protein. However, the DNA cannot leave the nucleus. Because of this, the nucleus makes a copy of this information in a process called transcription. Transcription separates the two strands in DNA using the enzyme helicase.
And then builds a new copy of the DNA using the enzyme RNA polymerase. This new copy of the DNA is called mRNA, and it contains things called codons that are basically the instructions to eventually make the protein. Now you remember how we said that DNA can't leave the nucleus? Well, mRNA can. After mRNA is copied from DNA, it is sent to a ribosome, which is the site of protein synthesis, and gives instructions on how to synthesize a protein.
To be able to synthesize a protein using the mRNA, the copy must be translated into something that the ribosome can understand, as if the nucleus and the ribosome are pen pals from two foreign countries. As mentioned before, these are codons. We can imagine the codons in the mRNA as words to make a message, just in another language. They can code a start and a stop codon to control the making of the protein. After the ribosome can understand the mRNA's message, the ribosome realizes that the message tells it what materials are needed to make the protein. In the beginning, we said these materials were called amino acids. These materials are made up of nucleotides, which are bonded together by peptide bonds. The ribosome sends out another kind of RNA in order to get these materials. This RNA is called tRNA. After all that, the tRNA retrieves the amino acids and gives them to the ribosome in order to make the protein.
Shrimp tried to explain this to Max, but he didn't understand.
To break it down into simpler terms, Shrimp explained mutations by referencing Max's plans to rob the bank. To help you understand this better, Max, let's imagine that you go on with your little robbery. You want the secret $1 million diamond located in the hidden vault inside the bank. You know where the vault is located, but you are not allowed to snatch that diamond, as you would get arrested. In this case, the diamond would represent the DNA and the vault would represent the nucleus. But since you've never been in the bank before, you don't know how to get there. Luckily, I know exactly where the vault is, and I would go get the diamond for you. I follow your plan as instructed, using everything you've taught me. Finally, I make it inside the vault. I see all the jewels and jewelry and that $1 million diamond right in front of me. To make sure that no one notices that the jewels are missing, I will replace all of the valuables with copies. I'll take the real treasures with me now that no one can suspect anything is amiss. The treasures would be considered as mRNA in this situation. In reality, they are the messengers that report to the ribosome. Their job is to send the ribosome codons, the representatives for specific amino acids. With the robbery as a success, we find each other again and get the heck out of here. Alright, now that we've got all these valuables with us, we can exchange them for good old paper money.
Money? Well, I suppose I'm in need of some of that.
That's perfect. We'll make so much money off of this.
Still, I really had no idea that this was all a genetics thing. Alright, since you've given me valuable information and helped me rob this bank, I will hire you as my assistant. You're not getting paid, though.
Alright, fine by me. The two began the process of exchanging all their stolen goods for cash. You want to know what this reminds me of in protein synthesis? Translation.
Why is that?
Well, we're trading in these goods for money. It's kind of like how ribosomes translate the codons in mRNA into the anticodons in tRNA. The jewelry would be like the mRNA codons, and the money would be like the tRNA anticodons. After the tRNA gets the amino acid, tRNA uses its anticodons to attach to mRNA's regular codons to connect the amino acid to the mRNA. If you remember, I told you that amino acids are the stuff that make up a protein.
I believe you did.
I'm glad you paid attention to me, boss.
Just call me Max.
When the two had arrived back at Max's secret lair, Shrimp proceeded to yap about protein synthesis again. See, tRNA is a lot like mRNA, except tRNA is from the ribosome and handles translation, while mRNA is from the nucleus and handles transcription. They also are different in that mRNA has codons and tRNA has anticodons.
Interesting.
It is! It's amazing because instead of being the code for an amino acid, like in mRNA's codons, tRNA's anticodons will find the amino acid.
I see.
You want to know another cool fact?
Sure, Shrimp, go on.
There's actually a difference between mRNA and tRNA. mRNA will have codons that are organized like this. However, tRNA is organized like this.
Oh, it's completely different.
That it is, Max. That's because tRNA's anticodons match up with mRNA's codons in a process called complementary base pairing. It's like how a magnet works. It'll match up a codon with its polar opposite, A equals U and C equals G. That's why tRNA is formatted like that. It matches with the opposite letter of mRNA.
Does this relate to my condition?
Oh, most definitely. Mistakes in codons are exactly why mutations happen.
Do tell how.
Give me a bit of time to research. I'll get back to you. Shrimp went to his laptop to research more about Max's mutation. Max, I found more information about your mutation.
Let's hear it.
Well, your mutation is scientifically called muscle hypertrophy, and I found out that your mutation could have been inherited or acquired later in life. Since you said that you were buff as a baby, but your muscles grew larger as you grew up, I'm confident that you inherited one copy of the mutated cell and acquired a second copy later in life. So, that means you have 2 copies of the mutated cells.
Tell me more.
I searched up a DNA sequence of your mutation. It shows the sequence without the mutation and the sequence with the mutation. Your mutation occurred from a point mutation where 2 nucleotides were deleted. Because of this, your codons created the wrong amino acid, a premature stop codon.
Point? Premature? These are all new words to me.
Don't worry, Max. I'll visualize it for you. Point mutations are when one or few nucleotides are changed in the codons of an mRNA sequence. In your situation, 2 of your nucleotides were deleted. This is called deletion. Because this change created a premature stop codon, it is defined as a nonsense.
You know, I used to be crazy about school.
Really?
Those were the days. Realizing the true origins of his gifts, Max would go on to use his strength to its max potential. With Shrimp by his side, Dr. Malevolent Max became the most dreadful, malicious menace to the city. But that's just a theory! A mutation theory!
Mutation Mythbusters.